Hello. I don't really want to talk about this issue, but I think I'm going to do it anyway. And the reason is because I don't think that these decisions that are being made are being made for the right reasons. So the premise here is that they think that they're supporting the content when in reality they're only supporting the delivery of the content. Now, I can see why they think they look bad to have their logo appear next to content they don't agree with, but really, who is it to say it's their business what content appears next to their logo if they're supporting the delivery? Yeah, that's a whole can of worms, right? Like, I can understand why they want to care about the optics of how it makes them look, but they're not terribly popular in the first place. So I can see why, as soon as someone sees the logo next to objectionable content, they're going to jump on the opportunity to say, "See, I told you so. AT&T and Verizon are evil companies." But we all knew that already, and it really isn't true because of their appearance next to a video. So I put this together. It's pretty simple. You can see here we have data. It's going to you, essentially, and it costs money. YouTube doesn't get to send this data for free. They have to pay for servers, they have to pay for internet connections, all sorts of things. And to make that possible, you have an advertisement, right? Now, it is just data, and yeah, it could be objectionable or not. So I added something to help illustrate that. So here we go. We return. So you see you have some content, and it may be happy, family friendly, non-objectionable, or it might not be. It might be something that you don't want to see, but you clicked on the video, right? Like, it's not Verizon's fault, or Time Warner, or Comcast, or whoever. It's not like your internet service provider's fault that you saw this video. So to think that the advertiser is the one to blame is equally ridiculous. Doesn't make any sense, right? You clicked on the video, you get what you click on, and that's really what it is at the end of the day. You don't have much control over it. And yeah, we've all been rickrolled before, so there's that. But the whole point I'm trying to make here, if it isn't already made, which I think it's been sufficiently made, I think it's pretty obvious, is that the people running the ads really shouldn't care what content they appear next to. And I can see why they might. But, arguably, they should have the capacity to pick and choose where their ads appear. But at the end of the day, it's up to the advertiser if they want to be choosy or if they just want to promote YouTube. YouTube really has to spend a lot of money to send all the data. And while I'm sure they've run many assessments of this and they determine, well, we really only need to run ads on our most popular, most recently posted viral videos, and yeah, we could cover our costs that way. But yeah, what happens when an old video suddenly starts to get traffic? YouTube apparently has to flip the bill themselves these days. They can't run ads on any of those videos, or they just don't run ads on videos anymore. So, this sort of brings me to the other argument, or the other problem I have, and it's a personal one. So, you'll see that I've changed this already. Now, I had this set up previously, and I'll prove it. So, you'll see my lifetime of videos here. very limited. I had one big winner here, a lot of watch time. That's not revenue number, that's just something else, watch time. You'll see it accounts for most of my watch time. The main thing to see here is this is about 6 years, between 2012. And where it stops here, suddenly stops making any money, which is unfortunate, right? So let's say I set this up and I didn't set it as a charity, but let's say that I did, right? And then I went off to the third world and, did some charity work, and maybe you can actually buy something with this $50 per year, which is what this is, somewhere, right? Presumably you can. And that would be all well and good, right? So I set this up, I have this historic content, maybe it generates some money, maybe it doesn't. Obviously it'll become irrelevant eventually anyway, or maybe it won't. Maybe something will catch on someday, who the heck knows? The point being that as the content creator, I get to choose where some of that revenue goes. Obviously YouTube has to cover their costs, right? Like as of today, they're hosting these for free. They're not running ads on any of them, right? I don't think that really makes much sense for them, honestly, either. So back to the point, right? Like you set this up, let's say you really want all of it to go directly to charity. You set up your auto deposit and that money is going there every month, and then you can just go off and to the great beyond or whatever, and you would assume that it would continue to work, but no, right? I had already set this up. Clearly monetization was already on, but I had to come in here and check a slider here to turn it on again, right? And like I have to be corporeal to do this, right? I have to exist in the physical world to come here and set my settings up again, and that's infuriating to me. Like that shouldn't be required, and I shouldn't have to like hire a lawyer after I'm dead to come in here and flip a fucking switch, right? Sorry, right? I don't mean to curse. Try to make a good, happy, friendly video here. But I'm not happy about it, right? Every time I try to set something up, and then someone else has to... It's not really good, honestly. It just pisses me off more. It's like, how is anyone supposed to like die in peace when shit like this happens? Like, and to me, it's tantamount to like desecrating someone's grave. It's just fucked up. I had this set up, right? It was fucking working. And yeah, sure, I wasn't getting rich, but at least it was going somewhere, right? At least I had some control over it. So it really ticks me off. Yeah, we're not talking about a lot of money here. We're really not. But it still is really fucking infuriating. And I don't know how anyone lives with it, honestly. But, yeah. I mean, it's all besides the point. Like, this is the real problem I'm dealing with here, right? Like, how the does anyone achieve these numbers? And yeah, sure, you have to make compelling content. And I'm not gonna argue this is compelling content. Maybe not yet anyway. But we have to try to make it into something compelling. So we go back. Well, look, like they're concerned their ads may have appeared alongside something that might have been objectionable, and it's completely fine. They want to pull their ads. I don't care, but YouTube shouldn't care either. That's the argument that I would make about this. So this is the main part of the relationship. YouTube cleverly left themselves out of this diagram. So, that makes sense. They're like right in the middle. Like they're this whole thing. YouTube facilitates these relationships. And what's happening here primarily all comes down to this. That the advertiser participation has made YouTube take these rash actions, and that I want to quantify again as being this, the extreme requirement. And to go back, and again, I had a channel that was effectively, it was working. It was doing what I wanted to do. It was, it was helping me take care of my own charities, which I define as paying interest on the mortgage, for example. You know, like we really care about our banks. We want them to have free money for doing nothing, but sit on their hands after they loan something to us. So, you know, they loaned us money, they're gonna sit on their hands and make some money. So that's the charity. They get their money, right, every month. And this certainly is barely helping with that, right? Like this doesn't cover 1 month of interest on a mortgage. This is nothing. But the point being that at least we can direct that money as creators. We can direct some portion of that money wherever we want, and that's great if that works. But what's happening here is the advertisers are saying we don't like these creators who say bad things about us. These creators, and you know, I will never say anything positive about any of these big internet service providing companies. Like Verizon rips people off every month. And if you're like me and you think internet, maybe it should be a right to have access to information. And I'm not talking about Wi-Fi and wireless. I'm talking about at least wired internet, some basic connectivity. It would be great. You know, it would be wonderful for humanity. And yeah, this is extreme, but this is really what I'm getting at here. This is the model the advertisers want, is effectively to pick and choose what creators are successful. But not only that, they want to pick and choose which creators are making the content. Like, and you know, YouTube thankfully hasn't done anything like shut down, like, let's say my channel. Like, they haven't done that. So in that sense, it's great, right? At least the content's still out there for the world. So, you know, there's an argument that that's a good thing, but you still have to buy an internet connection to access the content. So, you know, they don't really go into it, but, you know, it's still like them controlling everything. They don't really have this this fostering of freedom. And that's the unfortunate thing about YouTube being a party to, how do you word this? Like, they're a publicly traded company. So when AT&T Verizon pulled the plug, they're hoping the stock price goes down a little bit so they can buy it at a lower rate. So, you know, there's obviously more going on here, sorry, than it needs to be. Like, it's more complicated than it needs to be. But in an ideal world, the creators would have the control over YouTube. And the users, arguably, they'd pick what content they like. And if, you know, if the advertisers can help deliver that content, then maybe the users will consider that the advertisers are worth clicking on or worth purchasing from, right? And for some of these companies like Verizon, like, I will never, ever in my life, like, they're ripping so many people off that I cannot, on good conscience, buy anything from them ever. And I really won't, unless they have a compelling plan. Like, if they give me, like, a bargain basement discount plan that's reasonable, yeah, maybe I would consider it, right? But that's really all it is in the day. Like, I'm not gonna say that I like them as people. They're a big evil corporation, right? Like, there's no getting around it. There's no liking them as people. Like, it doesn't work that way. But if they can provide a compelling service that is reasonably priced, yeah, I could see buying it, right? But like, the content that they're appearing next to, like whether they're showing up next to a cat video or something they don't want to show up next to, it isn't really reflective of them. Like, you know, and maybe for someone who doesn't think about them as an independent entity, would be like, oh my god, they actually liked that cat more than that cat, and, you know, it's like, what the heck? It's not, it doesn't work like that. Like, our perceptions of these big companies aren't really shaded by the content that their advertisements appear next to, okay? Like, there's no advertisement that they will ever run on any content that will change my mind about them. And, you know, this is just how it is. This is the nature of the system we live in. That they're not going to change my mind about that. Not like that, right? Like, they could do good things that would make me think more positively of them, but they don't do those things. That's the point I'm trying to make here. And I don't know if I'm succeeding, honestly. But when the advertisers are picking which creator is successful, you might as well have government by the corporation, effectively. Like, That's exactly like the state-run media. It's exactly the type of thing. And these corporations have way more influence over government than is logically reasonable. Like given what percentage of the population they employ versus how much influence they have. Like there's no reconciling it. You can't make any sense of it. And I don't have numbers, but I just know it makes no sense. So, in a representative democracy, they don't have as much say as they exude. They just don't. So, appropriate for me to like say that, right? What the I don't know how to edit this. I don't want to edit it. I really don't. I just want to do everything in one shot. Like I hate editing things. So let's see what else we have here. And this one made sense. They're taxpayer-funded ads, and maybe they need to be really picky and choosy about what content, right? But again, this is just optics. Like the fact that their ad, which could have been for good dental health, showed up next to a terrorist video. Like, I'm gonna say it doesn't have anything to do with the other thing. Like, if your ad has some message that is contrary to the video it's appearing next to, that's arguably a good thing. So, like, I don't know what was in their video, but to think that they're they're not supporting the video, they're supporting the delivery of the content. So, like, they can pretend the optics are bad as much as they want. Yeah, maybe the optics are bad, but the optics are only bad because someone has an axe to grind about it. Like again, like there are competitors to these companies. When they see Verizon sponsored terrorism, they're gonna jump on the opportunity, right? Like that, and that's the same thing we have here in politics. Someone has an opponent who jumps on this and says, "Hey, they shouldn't be doing this." Well, it makes sense. But at the end of the day, this is all in YouTube's field to let the advertisers pick, right? Like, let's say that this advertiser wants to reach all users on YouTube. Then you have to run ads on all videos. There's no other way around it. But if you want to reach your like whatever this is, this wonderful daily content creators who are awesome. I'm not trying to say anything bad. Like I think that's awesome. If you're able to be successful on this platform, that's awesome. Good for you, right? Now, should you have to then cater to advertisers to be successful? I mean, apparently, according to some of these things, yes. And a lot of it makes sense. Like I don't think we should necessarily have a lot of bad language. It's tough to express oneself. It is. And it's tough to find the big words sometimes, but there are ways to do it. And this is the one thing I don't really like the idea. You can't run ads against things that like this content then becomes just that much more unwanted on the platform because YouTube can't make any money off of it, and yet they're hosting it for free. I mean, it makes no sense. Like YouTube's a company too, right? Like they have to pay for their bandwidth costs. So what do you want? They have to either take down videos, or maybe some advertisers can opt in and say, well, I as an advertiser don't care. Run me out and everything. I actually understand what's going on here. I'm not an idiot. I don't care about how it makes me look to run an ad next to some content that I find objectionable, because I understand that I'm supporting the platform, right? You're supporting the capacity for the data to be sent. And that's what's great about the platform in the first place. It's facilitating that transaction. And yeah, if you have a competitor who's going to jump on it and say, look, now you support X, Y, and Z, or upload some video and say, oh, now you support this. And, it's really just someone making it up. At the end of the day, like, it doesn't prove that these companies support extremism. I mean, they might be extreme companies, but that's neither here nor there. So I really should wrap this up somehow. So let me, I have to back way up. I have to get some context. So, like, this story is really old, right? But I'm pulling this story because this is sort of relevant for the time frame when my revenue dropped, which happened actually several months after. Like, this story ran all the way back in 2017, and a lot of these stories are from 2017. So this whole series of stories, and this is the most recent one, was from 2017. So this is actually outdated, fewer than 10K views. It's tough to say, but a lot has changed since these stories ran. So this is just for some historical contents. So this is like YouTube not taking any chances, and that's the world we're living in. And this has been going on for like a year now. Like, I didn't notice. I just opened this up the other day, and I was like, I thought I had set it up, and that there's like my portion of the proceeds for these videos was actually going where I wanted it to, and it turns out none of that was happening, and it's a little objectionable to me. And I can understand that, like, YouTube doesn't have to pay the creator. Like, that's not how the agreement was originally set up. I mean, that might have been nice, right? Like, if I had been able to choose that going in. And I think there are other platforms that might allow that. But, there's neither here nor there. And yeah, this is really, like, when they say more policing tools for both sides of the aisle, they're really not talking about the creators. And I don't know what the two sides are at this point. Is it the users? Is it YouTube and the advertisers? I mean, I think it's just YouTube and the advertisers. Like, so yeah, I wasn't subject to this. Like, my videos kept making money. Like, this was in March 2017. So none of this hit me until around February 2018. I was making like this steady flow of charity going to my bank account, going to the banks, ultimately paying interest. It was great. Do I want to have a more successful channel? I don't know. Like, I don't really want to be a public figure. I don't really want to have a face that people recognize, and then when I don't say hello back because I'm living my own life, that they then feel whatever. Like, I don't really want to be recognized, honestly. I just don't want to. And then it's like the introvert in me doesn't feel like that, but that's the way things are. Maybe that's like the inevitability is that if you don't put your face on YouTube, you can't be successful on YouTube. I don't know if that's true. I think maybe some people have succeeded otherwise. It's just like my biggest problem with this, I guess, if we go back and maybe try to summarize a little bit, is it's very reactionary. And when big companies do it, I'm pretty sure that they have their own reasons, and it really doesn't have anything to do with what they're saying about it. I mean, I would really think that you really shouldn't react as YouTube. Like, ideally, YouTube wouldn't say, "Oh no, we have to change what we're doing now." Like, what YouTube should do is facilitate the advertisers being picky and choosy if they want to be picky and choosy. But I think they should also open it up. So if some advertiser wants to run money on my ads on my videos to make some money, like, that's why the advertisers are running ads. Like, they're paying money to make money. And this is a great opportunity. I didn't have any links on this video. There are no affiliate links. Like, this was all set up so that if Brother wants to run ads for ink, and they do that, or anyone, honestly, anyone selling ink could run ads for ink. They'd show up on this video, people would click those ads, maybe buy the ink instead of refilling it themselves. Like, that's the whole thing. Honestly, like, I don't want to have to load a bunch of affiliate links onto my video, which is what I've done now, right? So now, yeah, who cares, right? No ads, no problem. But I didn't really want to do that. So now I have those. And I don't know. I still want to make like helpful content that maybe some people find helpful. I mean, I've made some content that I really like that isn't really popular. I don't know what to tell you. Well, let's see what else we got here. Oh, that one didn't load. That's all about the review process. So yeah, you have to meet these guidelines. You have to have like these guidelines before they'll allow monetization again. Which is like basically this is never gonna happen for me. Like like I have to really it's beg like please subscribe, please subscribe. And every time I hear someone say that, I'm like, when I make videos, I'm never gonna say that. And here I am. It's like please subscribe, and I don't want to do it. I really I don't like that side of it, right? Like shouldn't not the content stand on its own? And I understand why people have to say things like that, but that's the type of thing that it'd be nice if we could remove that whole aspect of every video on the platform. Sorry, but I don't like it. But it's understandable. I mean, people have to do what they have to do. And yeah, the watch hours is pretty crazy. Like I did the math. I've had about 3,000 something watch hours in the entire lifetime of my videos. So over the entire watch time, I haven't met what they expect me to have in the past 12 months. So it's just not happening. That's all there is to it. And the only reason that I think anyone can get this is because of the wonderful play it back 2 times fast feature, which I'm assuming that works normally, and it counts for 10 minutes when you really watch it for 5 minutes. But that would be great. But yeah, let's get back to this other big comment. And this is really, oh, no, it didn't load, but I took a screenshot of it, and this is the comment. I think the business of view and subscriber bots is about to get a lot more popular. And this was a year ago. But yeah, I could probably hire a bot that would watch a lot of videos on my channel and create a lot of fake subscribers. That's really, they're really right about this. Let's say you have to make a new channel because your channel got taken down because you were uploading videos you didn't own. Well, how are you going to get that channel going again? Well, it turns out it's really easy, maybe. I mean, I don't know. So yeah, this just keeps re-entering the news for various reasons. People think that the ad is reflecting, or what is it, the content that is somehow reflecting on the advertiser, right? Which is ridiculous. You get the content you click on. I can understand why the advertiser's like, this doesn't jive, it doesn't make us look good, but honestly, as a user, as a thinking user, I understand fully the ad has nothing to do with the content. It is purely to facilitate the transmission of the data. That's that. That's why the ad is there. And I could make a 10-minute rant about how much I despise big corporations, and they could run ads on those videos, and arguably my video would be arguing one side and the ad would be arguing the other side, right? Maybe they'd try to put themselves in a positive light. That's the whole point of them running ads in the first place. And like I said, many people have made up their minds about these companies long before they see any video or context next to it, and as soon as they see the context, they'll jump on it because they want to make these companies look bad. Let's face it, they're not very popular companies. They've destroyed net neutrality under Trump. And yeah, whatever. There's plenty more that you could talk about here. I mean, I don't want to waste your time. I really don't. I say watch it 2 times fast. Don't watch it. You're making advertiser-friendly content, so you can really look into it. Yeah, I can understand why advertisers might not want to show next to these things, but honestly, they run ads on the news every day, and the news is dealing with these things, so I don't see the difference. I see this all as manipulation. These companies have enough stock in YouTube now that they're really trying to control every aspect of the platform. And the way that net neutrality went away, and now these two companies are trying to actually, look at and utilize the data, like which originally the service providers are providing internet connection. They're not supposed to look at your data and what you're doing, but they get rid of net neutrality so that the service providers can now sell your data too, which cuts into the bottom line of everyone else who's actually trying to use the platforms to make a living, to mine data or whatever they do. I mean, I certainly don't make much of a living off of it. But yeah, I used to be making money on YouTube, and now I'm not. And I'm not really happy about it because like I said, this is supposed to be a set it and forget it thing. I don't want to go back. I don't want to have to go back, post death and somehow correct this. Or pay to have a lawyer come and check that the box didn't get unchecked every month. Like, this is the type of thing you don't want to have to do. And it harkens back to the first time I bought a domain name and I got free hosting. I'm like, alright, free hosting for life. This is great. I'll keep renewing the domain name and this website will stay online forever. I don't have to worry about it, right? I can go off, live my life, go off and die, and at least it'll be there forever, right? Nope, it doesn't work like that. And it's really infuriating, right? We put this content out there for a reason. We put it on YouTube because we think this platform is going to be there in the future. And, if they're not even monetizing the data that they're sending, then, I'd make the argument that they're not acting in their own interest, their own financial interest, and they're bound by law to do so, right? Like YouTube, by not running ads, that's not in your interest. And yeah, you can try to cater to advertisers, which are increasingly becoming your competitors, and keep being influenced by them, but all this is just an argument for the creators to buy YouTube and make YouTube private. Insofar as that would work, insofar as the creators are YouTube, then the advertisers don't want to run an ad, don't run an ad. If the advertiser wants to pick and choose what content they're running ads on based on some criteria, then it's their fault if the ad shows up somewhere they don't want. And I'm sure that's how things have worked in the past, but all of this, harkens back to these recurring nightmares of every time they pull ads, and I'm going to say it's in an attempt to manipulate the stock price so that they can buy more YouTube stock and have even more control over it. Just saying, but whatever. I don't know why they're doing it. I'm not going to say that I know, except that they're trying to fix some PR. But the problem is, by running this big old story, they're creating way more attention to it than may have existed in the first place. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's some meme that was like, hey, Verizon's evil. Yeah, well, guess what? That's what most people think anyway. And your ads aren't going to change that. Good luck. Oh well. Signing off, I think. Yep. Don't subscribe or anything. It's fine with me. Bye for now.